They have the books. Okay, good. Today is the 4th of February, right? 2015. Huh? March. Sorry, 4th of March of 4th. 4th of March. 2015. Okay. I think, I mean, we're supposed now to discuss the page 38, the paying attention to the elements. Okay. I think before we go that, we go on that side, we can just back to a little bit about the questions, because you were mentioned, I forgot your name, what's your name? Stacy mentioned about there were four kinds of comprehension, right? Yeah, I also I looked them up with the commentary. Even Soma Taylor also have, actually, I didn't notice that he translated, he didn't translate fully. There was lots of story he didn't translate too. He did translate what he think might be important, I guess. Selectively did translate the commentary too. So anyway, I will try to explain a little bit about that. It looks like very interesting. And also with the story also. And it's a very good way for people to understand how Buddhists understand some of what we call the Buddhist ethic kind of living. Because lots of people think, the monk, like if they don't talk to each other, they were just really doing their meditation, or they were just acting very strangely sometimes. They don't even, talk to too many people or whatever, and they think they're bad monk, right? And especially in Chinese culture, I know. And not necessarily all the time, and particularly the layperson, they will think, oh, this is not a monk. A monk's supposed to be almost like a waiter. You have to be served. Yeah, in general nowadays, especially when a layperson comes, and then you need to make them a tea, cook them a food.
You mean the layperson to the monks?
No, the monks to the layperson.
But that's not the case in Sri Lanka.
No. I'm saying in Chinese. I use the term Chinese.
Oh, bad Chinese, no good.
In Vietnam, maybe it depends, but it's quite often in Chinese. I'm sure she knows. So she can be what you call weakness. She can say whether it's true or not. But I don't mean that all the time. But I mean it's quite general. People take it that way.
It's different than Korea, Japan, where people actually have to.
Yeah, no. Even they helps too, but I don't know how to say. It's like.
But it seems like there's no status there. It seems like it's.
No, they do have status there. They still recognize it as a monk, but they're very.
Have to serve them.
No, but they're very happy the monks serve them.
Oh, because it's better.
It's still there's a status. There's a status. They know they're monks and I'm serving them, but they feel much happier with that. But in another culture, if you do that, they feel very bad. Especially like you say Sri Lanka.
Yeah, Sri Lanka.
They were so afraid because they thought they're going to become demarried.
Oh.
It will lose their marriage, so they were so afraid, like that. So anyway, all right. So we know that there's a term here in this the text called, I think the so-called Sati Sampajanya. It's from the fully awareness. It's on page 36, right?
Full awareness, yes.
So.
Because the translation, sorry, of Sati.
Yeah, the full awareness also, the clear comprehension depends on how you like to translate.
Wise attention,
okay.
Wise comprehension, wise consideration. There's many translations.
Okay, so let's say we still follow this text, say the full awareness or clear comprehension. In Chinese is 正知, okay. I need to write down Chinese first because actually it's 正觉, 抱歉, it's 正觉. Sometimes, in order to don't want the terms become more confused, we'll write 正知正觉, okay. Why? Because the word is Sati Sampajanya. Right. Sati is mean the mindfulness. Sampajanya is mean kind of know or know collectively, or you could say That's the reason why they translate as the clearly comprehension. Okay. But some actually is a prefix. Bajanya. Bajanya, of course, is from the word ba with nya, the root. Okay. It means, but of course, it just means see. Okay, to know. But that this kind of seeing and knowing must have the connotation of carry with the meanings of mean understand, knowing it. Okay. You see, but I like to understand in a way, you see something more like in a collective sense. Okay. So, but that's how some people like to translate, because in order to, this is old Buddhist translation, right, from the Chinese 正觉. But sometimes some people in the modern time they like to translate as 明觉. Okay. Okay. It's just a new translation. Probably you might be fine in any like what we call a modern translation, not necessarily in this century, even in perhaps like 8th or 9th century or 7th century. Okay. Okay, just have a glance through that a little bit on that page 36, which we discussed last week, the full awareness, but you can say the clearly comprehension. So, and it said again, because a bhikkhu acts with full awareness in moving forward and returning. Okay. So, who acts with full awareness in looking ahead and looking around, who acts with full awareness in bending and straightening his limbs and so on. Okay. Even when he's wearing his robe, going out for alms and so on, and eating, drinking, chewing, so any kind of postures. So he has to act with or how to say, or practice with this clear comprehension. Okay. So it's let's just look at this, the content. So of course, we know that comprehension here, it means somebody have this kind of awareness, very similar to like a mindfulness. But then it is not mindfulness. Otherwise, we won't use a term called this so-called this sampajana, kali. Sampajana doing this kind of sampajana, doing this kind of clear comprehension or fully awareness. It's not just normal awareness as mindfulness. Do you get it now? I hope you don't mix up the term. The mindfulness, nian, or in Chinese, we translate as mindfulness or awareness, right? So, but when you say the sampajana, the problem is translation. Sometimes you can also, like here, translate fully awareness, but you thought that means the sati, the mindfulness, the nian. It's not. It's the word 觉. Okay. Get it now? It's the word mean the comprehension. It's two different terms. Okay. Now we know that the mindfulness regard mean you're able to keep your mind on the object. You're able to place your mind to the object of your meditation. It's called mindfulness in general definition. So let's say when you're aware that there's your mind is not on the object, that is also mindfulness. But that is just only one of the functions of mindfulness. But the purpose of the mindfulness is to keep your mind placing on your meditative object. Okay.
Is that another word for concentration? Or?
No. The word concentration means no distraction. So if you place the mind on the object while doing meditation or practices, but without distraction, that without distraction is the concentration. Okay. Okay.
There's not a separate word in
Yes, concentration, samadhi.
Samadhi.
Yeah, samadhi, right. If you learn English, Buddhism, unfortunately, I would say, somehow, even though you don't learn Pali, Sanskrit, but you still have to know few of the general Buddhist terminology. For example, you cannot say I read Buddhist book a lot, but I don't know what is Nibbana is, the term, because you don't translate that. And you don't know what is the term Buddha, right? For example, that's definitely originally was not English, right? And so on, okay? All right, so let's just make this three terms clear. Sati, everyone know, mindfulness or awareness, right? And samadhi, that means the concentration or focused, okay? And then now we discuss the term sampajanya. It means the clearly a comprehension, or you could translate as here. I think I need to change in the future. It's fully awareness. That will a little confusion. Okay. So shall we just use a term like clearly comprehension? Okay. All right. So we know the content of clearly comprehension. If you need to text, it's on page 36 now. Yeah. We are on I.C. So when we talk about this clearly comprehension, so the clearly comprehension, we know the clearly comprehension have the content itself, like what kind of thing that according to the Satipatthana Sutta, the four foundation of mindfulness Sutta, been described is that you aware, like looking forward, looking backward, going forward and going backward, and then even any kind of action like you're sleeping, walking, and even going arms, even taking the ropes on your body. And those being understood as the necessary practice. It's almost like your daily life, everything you're doing that has to practice with comprehension. Okay? You get it now? But this, yes?
Well, it sounds very much like the four postures. It just seems more expanded.
More expanded with the four posture, yes. Actually, it's go with the four posture too. Yeah.
So it's like the extended version of the four postures.
I think that here, the four posture is basically, I think the four posture is only you just have to be able to aware in what posture you are, right? I have to, if I would look at it, let me just look at the Pali first.
And can I tell you what I have for clear comprehension that I couldn't remember last week?
No, I have it. I haven't talked yet. I'm going to talk more in detail. I just want to just make sure the difference between. I'm going to talk about what are these four and all this. Yeah. But when in the Pali, when that's the four posture, in the Pali term, it only saying that they know. Pajanati means knows. Almost like you know your breath, right? You know your in breath, you know your out breath. And then that is, they use the term pajanati, mean someone knows, one knows. So someone knows that I'm standing now, I'm sitting now, I'm reclining now. At least it didn't carry the term with like the clear comprehension. Okay. Is it recorded? Okay. At least it's not. It didn't. But then the next one, that's what I arrange it as the third one of the mindfulness of contemplation of the body with regard to the body. That means per se to the body, not anything else. So it is comprehension. Okay. But also included what you just asked. So it's included the all posture too. But I think they should have some significant differences. That's the reason why the commentary wanted to explain all this. Okay. Okay. First, let's just look at the commentary. Say, as I say, the Somatera, he does translate some of it, but it's not all of it. But let me just look at it first. He say, let me just look at the commentary, how it defines the word. So he does all his tasks with the clear comprehension, or he practices clear comprehension itself. It's mean by, or for the practices clear comprehension when engaged in going forward. So it means by practices a clear comprehension. In other words, he engaging in all this sort of thing, but he's still practicing this clear comprehension. So that's how the commentary at first defined it. Okay. But now then the sub-commentary again, that means the commentary to the commentary. So basically saying that the comprehension is one who knows the comprehensively, or kind of like instantly, in a distinguished way. Or you could understand it means the sub-commentary understand what does a comprehension, sampajano here mean, not a pajanati, not just only the pajana, like no, but you are comprehend. So it's that you comprehend thing instantly, okay, in a very clear way. Or okay. And then just a moment, just let me read that. So that's why it's called, on that kind of state, it's called the clear comprehension. And then, but of course, this kind of knowledge will occur in this kind of way because you practice this clear comprehension. Okay. But of course, then another commentary called a sub-commentary say that the clear comprehension. Okay, basically, I mean clear comprehension is understand the comprehension, understand it rightly and without any. You have the word samang. It always mean even, not moving.
Correctly as well.
Or can be, I think correct.
Rightly.
No, I mean, I think normally, no. Sometimes
It's like a right view, right.
No,
Is that
that's
a different
saman.
path?
Saman is no. It
Oh,
means
it's different?
saman, S-A-M-A-N. It's generally mean say something even. You observe almost like without, don't carry any prejudice view or whatever.
Equanimity, more balance.
So something like the balanced way is called saman. Okay. Okay, and then. All right. Just then of course, then that's how later on we introduce. There are four. The commentaries say there are four kinds of the comprehension, clear comprehension. So let me write it out. One is that the clear comprehension of the purposeful. Okay. I don't need to write a clear comprehension. Clear comprehension. CC of the purposeful. Okay. Purposes. So and then the second one is the suitability, okay, of suitable. Is it called suitability? Yeah, suitability. And then you have the third one. Anyone? Good. Clear comprehension of domain. D-O-M-A-I-N, I think. Yeah. I don't need to write 正觉 anymore. Yeah. And the last one. Yeah, non-delusion may be best. Non-delusion. 无痴. Yeah, asamoha. Okay, there are four kinds. Now so we understand the comprehension already means basically even you look at the commentary, sub-commentary, or even sub-commentary, it means you can comprehend with all these kind of actions, like imminently or instantly, clearly, And if you want to add even some more information, like the sub-commentary mean evenly, even rightly and evenly, so clearly, and then it also comes to a kind of knowledge. It comes up to a knowledge. This is called the comprehension, and it divides into four, because I guess it divides into four. We are going to talk that later. So it's because sometimes it might be serve the purpose, but it's not necessarily serve the suitability, and so on. Okay. So let's look at the first one, the clear compilation of the purpose. So what it's going to say.
Where this commentary is coming from? It sounds very Abhidhamma.
Well, of course, the commentary definitely is influenced by the Abhidhamma.
Yeah,
but sometimes it's not necessarily, depends on what you define the Abhidhamma. You have to understand when we want to say, basically, I guess the whole scholarly, any system is like that when there was when there's a teachings going on, and later on you need to explain the teachings, right? When you need to explain the teachings, might be somehow you got to, I mean, this is my understanding, somehow you got to learn, you have to invent certain terms to describe things, right? And this is how our language become complicated. I guess when you study language, you definitely know. Like if it really went a revolution, if we had really evolved from the monkey, for example, they have only those their language, and they maybe start to only say a few words, you, me, right? But when the society become more complicated and you need to invent languages, right? The languages are like that. I mean, the same thing in Buddhist language evolve in that way. So I mean, that's why I say sometimes we got to be cautious. What does it mean by the Abhidhamma? Of course, I have to say the commentary definitely learn Abhidhamma. But when you read the commentary, especially the Pali one now, but that doesn't say that in earlier time in Sri Lanka, when the Bhikkhu Buddhas, Buddhaghosa went to, from India to stay in Sri Lanka during the 5th century, around 5th century, and when he re-added, I would say, added all the commentary into Pali because it was written in Sinhalese language, Sri Lankan language, but into the Pali. So that's very clear. He put away many ideas he didn't agree, right? But you could say Buddhaghosa is very Abhidhammic idea. I want to say this, it means don't jump in conclusion thinking the commentary definitely is Abhidhamma system.
No, I just see that.
Even though now we see, you still don't know the clear pictures.
No, I just had a feeling, that's why I asked.
No, no, you can ask, but I'm going
Intuition,
to, no, I'm giving you explanation. So
Right.
don't think it that, it's commentary, then it's Abhidhamma. No. But it's true that in Pali, it have this inclination. Why? It's because when Buddhaghosa, definitely he was absorbing this so-called Mahavihara Abhidhamma system, and then he only agree with, I don't know whether he's only agree, I don't know, I cannot say he, but definitely after his addition, so the commentary, it's more have to try to agree with the Abhidhamma, okay? But we don't take it as because it's like that, and you thought all the commentary is Abhidhamma, no, okay? You could have a commentary disagree with Abhidhamma too, right? Okay, okay.
It's very rich. It's complicated.
Clear comprehension of purposes.
Okay, firstly, we define what is the purpose or what is the purpose of the first one, the comprehension of the purposes. So anything that withdraw in the Dharma is the purpose. So that's the sub-commentary define that. Anything that withdraw the Dharma, it's the purpose. I mean, grow the Dharma. So I mean, this is how they do it first. You must have a first definition. The purpose for what? The purpose has to be then the Dharma will grow, you know. So, and then then we are going to have more detail later. But as in, and then the second is so when they say that it's a clear comprehension of the purpose, so it means what is purposeful in when you're doing such activities like going forward, okay? So that will grow the Dharma, basically, okay? And what does this mean by the suitability? You know, it's when it is suitable, beneficial for oneself. It, in other words, mean we must understand when we say we practice the comprehension, so the comprehension has to be beneficial and suitable for you. So it means that they call it suitable. So, and what does it mean? The comprehension for one's dormant. Okay, if it the dormant for one's here, I don't know why I say the dormant for one's arms round when you go for begging the food. But anyway, I think I know what it's basically. Generally, mean you have to be within that kind of dormant or that kind of resort area that you're doing something. But then there's something also you also not abandoning your activities with your purpose and also within the meditation. Okay. We're going to explain the detail later. So that's what I mean by the dormant. And the last one, of course, what does it mean by non-delusion? It means does not become deluded when you're doing these activities. You know, like you're going forward and returning, or you are eating, you are in the toilet, you are whatever, poo-poo, doing poo-poo, urination, on everything. So, okay. Okay, yes.
So basically just living when you're,
it is
everything from when you wake up and when you go to sleep.
Yes, yeah, everything, yeah. I think this is interesting because this is definitely is not very, I want to say is at the moment, is that we must understand when people because usually take this as like a mindfulness, as I say, but in the Pali it looks like, that's why it's always discussed. When I say mindfulness, I mean the word sati or smriti in Sanskrit. But I'm saying that the Pali system take this as, this is a language. Okay, we know that this is a first language. To subscribe certain activities which serve the purpose of your practices, okay, and give the best result of it, okay. We know. But since you're learning Pali system, then we must understand the term doing these actions, knowing the four postures, it's just knowing, but then really in detail, clearly understand even the mind, instantly observing, this is called comprehension. Okay.
But why is that not here? Why isn't this explanation here?
What do you mean by not here? Not in the Sutta?
Yeah.
Maybe the Buddha never used this term.
Well, then how would we know these?
I don't know, but of course, that this is what I say, this is by the commentary, and then commentary is, you could say, passed out by, generation to generation and to the practices. And they have somehow, from where they invent these terms to describe those things, how you justify a person. In order, even for the explanation's sake, how can you explain these people are doing this, and then they become arahant or they become saint? That's why I'm saying that in this Pali tradition, when you read the tradition here, with the commentary, the way to understand those actions when you're doing all this kind of action the Pali system do not take it as mindfulness, but take it as the comprehension. Okay, I stress that already. But what I understand is sometimes even in Tibetan tradition or even in Chinese, it can be very ambiguous. Perhaps that might be in those days after, definitely commentary been written down before Christ, Jesus Christ. That means that before the 1st century. And but then it definitely will add up more information. But when did this system been really passed out, we don't know. Of course, not in the Sutta.
But it looks like these teachings are, all the sutta. So what they do is they kind of re-emphasize in a different way with their own experience. But these teachings are always present in all the suttas, in most of the suttas.
Clear comprehension. This definition of clear
Yeah,
comprehension.
but those things are always present in most of the suttas. Do you know what I mean? The underlying structure of it. So it's not something they invented. It's something that they're through there. They want to kind of maybe be more microscopic.
I would take it this way. I think that all these practices exist in all our daily life. This is truly what my understanding when we learn meditation. You certainly have to know every movement. When you're going drinking, you must know you're drinking. When you have, you know all this. This definitely is one of the practices, at least the way that I learned from early time. And I never had question about this thing. Even in Zen Buddhism, I know, I'm not practicing, but I know somehow you'll find that the sensei practices all the time, any movement, right? So, but this is, anyway, we are not going to go that way, but I want to say, for practice, for sure, Buddhism, the Buddha definitely, we agree that. I don't think the Buddha will say, you practice your meditation, you really practice, now you're sitting, your practice. But if you don't sit in, you're not, you don't care, no matter. You could just really enjoy your wine, dance like a mad cow, right? Or have this, or act like, or some of what Buddhism called a wrong view, etc. You eat like a dog, right? And it's right, or you could just I mean, that definitely is not Buddhist idea. Now, this is how I explain it. The thing is when the system become, when the language becomes so rich and when the study becomes so, how to say, so popular or so general for people, everyone understand it. So that knowledge certainly, when I say knowledge here, even within the language or the system, they have to develop how to explain. It is a mindfulness, or it is, okay, if it's mindfulness, how you explain this kind of mindfulness. Right. And I think this is, that's the main thing. So I guess, but that's why I stress again, the Pali system, they explain this in terms of sampajanya, or that means the clear comprehension, okay, and with this kind of system, which will guide us to know, because, okay, let's say I would say, where do you want to go now? I'm going to Hooters, for example. I don't know. I've never been there. I always very curious. People telling me a lot of Hooters. Maybe one day I should go. I should just pass by the window. I even didn't go pass by the window. I mean, I'm just, I'm just going, saying the story. For example, if the monk say, oh, I want to go to the Hooters to have a cup of tea. I don't know whether they have a tea though.
No, they don't sell tea.
What do they sell?
Chicken wings and beer.
Oh, what else? Chicken wings.
Any
Burgers.
Okay, say
Like
burgers. So he say, among say, oh, I'm going to, I mean, let's say like you, all of you say, oh, shall we invite Sakarananda, go to Hooter to have a burgers for our dana?
That's the monk food.
For example, then when Sakarananda imported me, say, I wanted to go to for dana because I said I don't have time, I'm not going. And he say, then I will ask, where do you want to go for dana? He say, oh, I want to go to Hooters because they invite me to Hooters for dana. Then I would say, no, don't go. You cannot go there for, why? But of course we know this reason. Definitely the monk will say, don't go. Of course we will say, don't go. So we know that if we go, maybe Sakana will be distracted and his mind would be deluded. I mean, right? And he might be coming back thinking of, why I had to be a monk, such a always meeting these ugly people, but there I meet different people. I don't know. But I'm just saying this is a fact. But then now, this is how this commentary system is about. Now you need to have a kind of term to say. For the purpose, it's not, because it doesn't serve the monk purpose, right? But that's the reason why it's not taught. But you may not have this term, but you still have the same thing. Don't go. You cannot go there because it's bad for you. So.
But
Yeah.
he should know that on his own anyway.
Huh?
He should, it doesn't say, have somebody else tell you what to do.
No, do you think that, in general, do you think that when they go there, will grow the Dharma?
No, I don't think
If he's a good monk, he will.
No,
No, it wouldn't on multiple levels.
It's unsuitable.
no,
Unsuitable domain.
yeah.
Maybe she's already.
No, I don't think even Arahant don't go. I don't think the Buddha said I will go because I don't have attachment. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Well, the Zen people would say, no, you still need to practice it for years. That's a test.
No, that's a choice.
Yeah, that's good. If you say that's a test,
Does
it means you have a different view, understand whether it's suitable for you or not suitable for you. Then that could be argued, that could be debate or discussed whether that's suitable for you, But I think,
Not for me.
first thing, according to the Theravada tradition, or so-called the Pali system, will first say definitely not serve for the purpose. And that will be the first argument, say it will not suitable for you.
But this really has to be understood.
Mm.
If somebody's serious about that.
Yeah.
This really has to be very clearly comprehended.
But the seriousness is everything.
Yeah.
Even like I'm saying that going to Hooters is one thing, or you're going to the temple to eat, then let's say there's two group of people inviting him to go to have the dana, and then one is to be in a very nice temple that very quiet, very whatever, not noisy, but the other is Hooters, right?
Yeah, it's significant. It's really important.
I've never
So-
been either.
But he could argue that, Dhammadippa Bante or whatever, I think it's suitable for me, because my mind was always have this wondering, curiosity. Then I would say, but that is not serve the purpose.
Well, maybe for this monk, it wouldn't be difficult to go, but for another one it would be. So it really depends on the
person.
situation because.
Unless he really die, no food at all, just only hooters there. That serve the purpose because he's starving and going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, yes, what's your question first?
But, those are situations where you have a choice, but a lot of time in regular life, you're thrust in certain situation, you might have to make a choice. Like for instance, so there's a fire in the building, and then somebody is inside, or you go in and feed the cat, or your mother, or whatever it is. You have to make some. It's unexpected choice, and then I guess at that time maybe your whatever practice you have comes into play, and then you're able to perhaps distinguish what choice to make. Because a lot of times you run into a situation where you didn't expect that you have to make this choice quickly, almost no time is late.
Yeah, I think, but when you say making a choice, it might be there's some connection with our topic, but then it's still a kind of, because let me think. Making a choice more should be under the discussion of what we call the cetana, means the intention, right? You intended to go a place, but let's say I'm intended to go to, say, let's say there's a fire, right, in a house. So then if you intended to die, then you stay, right? Or you intended to show that your braveness. No fire can hurt me, or whatever reason. That time you just thought somebody wanted to die. So that's the intention over there. The choice, like you say, they make the choice to be staying. The one of the thought that when that intention comes along, and I guess because this topic is about clear comprehension. Well, of course, if you really, even at that time, you still have a clear comprehension, I would think they're really very powerful meditator already, because even in the fire there, you still can aware everything so clear, so distinct. Like this fire coming, all action. Even you might be practice that's called the non-delusion. You don't see your body, but just only the four elements, the mind going on. Then you running out because your intention still wanted to survive. You're not arahants, and you still have this, mind that you want to live along because either because for your practice you haven't attained arahantship yet. According to my understanding in general, I may be extreme. If that fire really there, the arahant might not necessarily thinking he need to be run away from the fire. It doesn't matter to him. But not arahant, definitely he will run away from that. But he will run away from that for many reasons. One reason he could be because he's thinking about his staying still can be beneficial for people, for the compassionate sake, or it could be he run away. That's like they talk about a choice. It's not clear comprehension. Like his choice, he want to go away, run away from a fire because of that, or he want to run away because of he knew that he hasn't attained arahantship yet. He doesn't want to waste that time, right? Just to be dying. Okay. Okay, that's why it's said that when you say the comprehension of the purpose, okay, say that somebody who like they are going to have a in tradition in Sri Lanka go to a jaida, the top, or jaida stupa, or the worship, and then they want to go to hear the monk and to go to see the monk. Those are the purpose, and then those are the purpose. But then even though the purpose are right, but if it's not suitable, for example, if we go to say that I'm going to a temple, according to the community say that Jaitiya say they are going to worship the stupa, and then if it's even though he has that idea, but then when his mind thinking, he know that he's going there. Presumably in general, you're going to worship the stupa, you have the good purpose, right? Because you're still doing well, but then sometimes, if that stupa having lots of people over there, too crowded, and people, that's explained in other places, like when people wear different kind of clothes, whatever, and this and that, so noisy, so now that you'll be so busy in greeting all these kind of people if you're serious practicing this clear comprehension, and then it lost the suitability because it's not suitable. So, okay. But then another way of explaining is also, just now we said that it's about action. Like it's serves the purpose to go to worship the stupa, but it's not suitable. That's why it doesn't go with the second comprehension of what we call the stability. But what about the comprehension of dormant? The dormant is also including, but we said that the dormant is, it has to do, so the dormant means within that, let's say you are worshipping the stupa is the dormant, as well as you are taking the meditation object of. For example, here they say this example, like someone if they practice like the meditation on the Buddha, the recollection of the Buddha, 就是佛水念, So the recollection of the Buddha means all the time, you need to just recollect like Arahant. What does Arahant mean? Arahant. Sammasambuddha. What is Sammasambuddha? Right. That's how I also practice that. I think when I finish my mindfulness breathing, the second thing, I won't say finish, I reach to a certain steps of mindfulness breathing, and then the second thing I do, I have to practice the recollection of the Buddha. You always ask this question when you do the recollection of Buddha, because you have to just sit. I mean, do you know how to practice that in general?
I thought you had to recollect his 9 characteristics.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah.
But you said you have to repeat Sammasambuddha.
Yeah, that is Sammasambuddha, means his name.
Right,
Do you recognize his name? No, Arahant from Arahant start with.
Arahant, yeah.
The second is Sammasambuddha, Vijayacharana Sampanno, Sugata Loka, we do like that, one by one. Chinese say 10, but anyway, it's another story. But I just want to say is that when you recollect the Buddha, the quality of the Buddha. So say that you sit, and then your mind is not thinking something else, but your mind just only recollect, just to thinking the virtual Buddha. Say one of the virtual Buddha, he's Arahant. Why he's Arahant? Because he cut off all these defilements, so that he would not reborn again. He would not keep the secret, right? And he also basically means somebody have most worthy to be worshipped, to be honored, right? So, and then your mind just only thinking that one of the qualities of the Buddha. You don't think something else. You don't think like, because if that's your kamatana, that's your meditation object, meaning kamatana, ye chu in Chinese, okay? If that is one your meditation object, you don't just do that and then later you think, I want to do loving kindness. So then you change your meditation object, okay? Okay, here, at least in the commentary never say that whether it's right or wrong to change meditation object. I want to just say this. Here it say that now I'm practicing the recollection of the Buddha. So that's the same thing that we always ask the question teacher. Can I practice while I'm walking? Can I practice while I'm just going there? Remember, that's even in our meditation retreat the same. When you practice the loving kindness meditation, they always ask. So can I do I walk also walking observing my footstep, or I have to do loving kindness meditation? I say depends on you, up to you, right? But some people get confused. They want one answer. But anyway, I want to say according to the system. So when the person is going to worship a stupa, so right, so and he, according, the commentary way of saying, a person wake up early, have to clean his place, but if he is a student, he had to look after the old masters, the teachers, and he had to, do his duty, like preparing the water and all day, and boil some water and do something for the master to drink and all this sort of thing. So when he done this thing, and then this all with the mindfulness, but now he has to go to take for the alms, because that's how the daily life they have to do, right? But now of course it's different, but the daily life they have to go out for the alms. So, and he might be sitting just 2 or 3 rounds of meditations, so that he establish a very good mindfulness or practice meditation. Let's say he was meditate on the collection of the Buddha names. So when he was doing that 2, 3 sit round, this is how the community say about 3 round or sitting. So maybe if it gets 1 round. I guess if we say usually traditionally we wake up at 4 o'clock, actually 3 o'clock. The best is you wake up 2:30 and then you start to do meditation 3 o'clock. And we believe that 3 o'clock was the most essence of our brain.
Oh really? Not 4? 4 o'clock?
3.
Is that the
Start from a 3.
Chinese?
No, it's and this is. Yeah, this is how you divide into the first night, 2 night, 3 night in Indian system, right? The third night, you need to wake up to meditate. So the second night, you sleep 3
I wonder
hours.
how the monks knew the time back then.
No. Actually, these days explanation inside is, I don't know the women, I'm sorry, okay? You see, accordingly, the man, right, when, in the scientist, no, listen to this. Actually, even the men say that very clearly because in the research, for the brain research also, the most active brain actually is during almost like 3 to 4 o'clock that time.
Oh, you get the rapid eye movement. Yeah.
And then also for the man, there's a kind of organ is more active is also at that time too. So if you, so
we should all get up and meditate from 3 to 4. Is that the best time? And then go back to sleep. Is that the best
no,
time?
that's the reason why in the tradition they have a little nap during the lunchtime, after lunchtime.
That's good. That's good.
They don't go back to sleep, but they have a nap on the after
What about
lunchtime.
after breakfast?
Normally, that's why you imagine. This is what I'm going to count. Say that you wake up 3. Okay, you don't have to wake up 2:30, but normally like 3. You do the thing and then maybe start to do meditate like 3:30. Say that 3:30 to 4:30. And then in a certain area, they might give you something to drink, like a kind of porridge. I'm going to talk there also, congee, kind of congee. And you might have something like a zhou in Chinese, like. So you might have something like a porridge, but you have to make a rice or something, liquid form. Yeah, it's that. But there's sometimes Sri Lanka they put some herbs too. That's also have much to do with the Vinaya, the discipline code text. I think Sri Lanka still follow that somehow. Only in the forest they do that. Anyway, nowadays because it's so working, so hard, okay, a lot of manual work to do this. Now it's getting less and less. If you really have to use the herbs, you need to crash it and this and this. Anyway, a lot of work to do. I don't know how to do that. I never learned that. And where I am now.
Breakfast.
Congee.
No, congee. after the congee, the big one, you need to kind of like then the light comes out already, right? And you start to clean your surrounding. That's your duty. You always have to clean. You clean it, you may have a duty even clean other place too, but that's the minimal. You clean your own goodie, mean your living place and surrounding. In old days, it's just like a little hut, right? And then maybe there are lots of leaves around the trees. So you need to clean the trees up. The leaf, not the tree, sorry, the leaf. You need to clean the surrounding. All right, you have done that. So you might be almost like, say about 5, you start to do that. So, and then you're from 5. So you maybe do it half hour, say, and then 5:30 you finish it. So the 5:30 to 6:30 you meditate again, right? That's a second one of meditation. And you maybe have a little break because of drinking water, going to the toilet, whatever. And then from 6:30, and you might be about 7, then from 7 to 8, something like that. You count on that time. No, they don't have breakfast.
No, they had their breakfast already.
No, they don't.
At 4.
So almost that from 8 o'clock, then you need to be prepared. I'm saying this, if you count one session as sitting is 1 hour, I think usually sometimes you do 1.5 hours and 2 hours is very normal. I mean, in between 3 sessions, you could be 1 hour, 2 hours, and then 1 hour. That's fine. So roughly that kind of time, you have 3 sections, and then you start to wake up. Not wake up, sorry. Then you start to prepare the robe and wear the. That's why I always talk this topic in terms of this. Then because in the room you don't wear all this king, you only wear
Your undergarment.
something like this. Anyway, you're not naked, you know what I mean? So, but then you start to wear the robe, prepare for it, and this all with the mindfulness, not like, no. You have to do it really, really mindful, and aware of all this, like. And then now you take the bowl. That's why I all describe how you take the bowl and this, and you start to walk out. Then you usually, if you know the distance, even the closer distance, you definitely have to leave at 10 o'clock. Okay. You don't go for arm, say, I want to go for arm by 11:30. No, that's no way. So, but normally, the latest one, if they really cook in the temple itself, it just kind of, they might be started for arms for 10:30. But I'm saying that usually you go from 9 o'clock. So actually, you take a lot of time outside. Every day you walk up with the barefoot, Now we don't do that now, you know. When you go for arm, you still have to do that, but not in the winter time, you know what I mean? So you walk and out to go for the food, and then you return. Say about 10:30, the
Do
latest.
that in Sri Lanka still go for alms, or do you cook in temple?
Not very common. Nowadays, not very common because in Sri Lanka, I said that already. In some forests, they still do that a little bit, but it's culturally sometimes culture is more important. You might be doing that in Thailand, but it's still a little different. But I think Thailand and Burma, especially Thailand, they still are more common than Sri Lanka because Sri Lanka cultures change. If you go for alms, they don't like it. I think I did mention that in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes my experience I did that because there was a time I used to go for alms, and then when I stayed in a temple, I also go out for alms, and then I was requested not to go out for alms later on. Why? Because the Sri Lankan layperson, they are the one who donor. They are not happy. They say our foreign monk, why they go out for alms? Does it mean that we don't offer him a good food?
Oh, so they bring it to the temple.
They bring it to the temple. They arrange the temple, so they don't like it. Not that they occasionally fight, but you know.
So they have a
Yeah, I think it's
They feel
culturally-
bad.
It's culturally different, I suppose. Yeah.
They feel bad, you know. But that's why in Sri Lanka interesting. Those if you see nowadays in general in the city especially, if those who go out for alms are the samanera, the new novice monk.
They have to.
Not the base of training period for them. Become a training, like they need to have experience with that.
in Thailand, they do, don't they?
Not all, but they do. But still very commonly because because the king and they have this kind of system. The Sri Lanka is more democratic now. There's nobody can order them say you should be this and that. But in Thailand, the king still he is almost like the patron of the Buddhism. So if at least the message is passed out by him, we don't know the detail. But if he say no, you know, for example, monk cannot go where, and then they will read it, regulation by the law. Then the Thailand, I mean, still the country itself, they have the law for them, you know. Okay.
But it's, you know, when they were going on alms, that was a lot of exercise for the monastics to, I mean, if we're going through the schedule of the day, so if they were leaving at 9 o'clock and they have to walk an hour.
You can think that way, but you have to imagine, like if it, have you been to Thailand or even, okay, just imagine like in New York City. And imagine that if there was a time, I guess there was a lot, as I said, there's a lot of political thing going on. Imagine that normally some monks, they like to go out because they usually get more better food, I have to say.
To go out.
Yeah, normally.
You get chocolate cake.
And that's the reason why there are lots of story about, you know, going out also. Some people choose where to go because some places give you bad food. Some places are so bad, they don't go there.
Yeah, there's lots of stories about that, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's very clear. That even if I had to go out for food, let's say that everybody really offer you food, they might have high chances people offering food. You know, people still will select the place to go. They are not going to this harem street, you know. They might give you very old, you know.
Which one?
But anyway, I'm just telling you, it's not as simple you think.
No, I know.
Yeah.
2,500 years ago, that's how they did it. They went, they
That
walked
was
a
a
long
tradition,
distance, and they would have to walk with the food all the way back.
Yeah.
And then eat it when they.
Even now they do it.
So they do walking meditations.
Yeah, but
That's
this,
a lot of exercise.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, there's a lot of exercise, very nice, very
Also
good.
practice
Yeah, but then
walking meditation.
But then you need to imagine if you have 10,000 monks living in New York City,
Right.
not just 1,000 monks or 500 monks or 10, 20,
But you know,
50.
it will happen in the future, I think. There will be communities of
Yeah, it could
like
be.
in Sri Lanka or.
Yeah,
you
okay.
know,
Let's say this. We just try to
we should
imagine.
do it now.
I mean, is it all of you going to be a monk and nuns now?
Cheers.
No, but like, you know, we create a whole community, have the monastery at the center, like they do in Sri Lanka, and then you have the lay people.
The village.
Village, all of lay people, Buddhists, and then, you know, who give the dana every day. And then we have Buddhist schools and Buddhist hospitals and Buddhist everything. It will happen.
Okay, I hope that next election you'll be there, and I definitely will vote for you as the president.
Like city of 10,000 Mahayana.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Explain.
Yeah. But anyway, shall we back to here? So basically, I just want to say that. But then you have also don't forget. I'm just saying that it's not as simple in a way. Even during the time, people can complain too, because if they are not going to give the food when the months pass by, they feel guilty to that also, and they might be having their difficulty. At least they think they have a difficulty, like their business not going that well now or whatever. They somehow and then I still see the monk. If I don't give, I feel guilty, like I don't have marriage. They have this kind of belief there already. So that's the reason it's not like as simple as like. Even the Thailand was encouraging, but the Thailand never also say you have to do it also, because it does give up some social other problem too. Not let alone to say because of other religions, just say only Buddhism you think. So and that's why I say like in Bangkok, because I lived in Thailand before too. Actually, I did live in Burma and Thailand, even though I lived in Sri Lanka the most of the time, but I do live there for a certain time. I know that. So even if you live there. You go out, I mean, in some certain temple go out, but if it really become a regulation that everyone have to go out, that will be in a chaos. Because then, and also when you go for arms round, you don't go to, the problem is that, and the Buddha never say you cannot go for arms round, basically the regulation is, you can go for arms round when you see the dark light. It means you could go 5 o'clock. That's why in Thailand, normally the Thai monk, Burma usually the same thing. But I want to say that normally they go for arms round of thrice, right? In the morning, 5 o'clock, you could see start with the light, then the monks go out. And do you think that they're going to walk too long? No. So that they become a little burden with the surrounding people too. And then the lunch also, right? No, it's not that easy. Imagine if I every day go just pass by, give me some food, Of course, I'm very happy, but every day, and maybe somehow that's also create
cook extra dinner time.
Especially
For tomorrow.
yeah.
No, I mean extra. But I think most temples now have kitchens.
Okay, that's not actually. But to be strict speaking, looks like if you really follow the Vinaya, when the temple have a kitchen, is wrong.
Yeah, but
okay. That's why we just.
Times change.
This is why we study Buddhism. We have to understand the different thing. What is Vinaya is about, and what is
culture change, time change.
No. Okay, back to the meditation. The mindfulness of the Buddha, recollection of the Buddha. So, but the thing it is, if that's let's say, so because he go for worship the stupa and he go for the alms round, because traditionally when he wake up, and then he clean all the place, he almost done 3 times of meditation, and then he take the bowl, right? So before he take the bowl, he has to go to the stupa to worship the Buddha. I'm talking this is commonly done by Sri Lanka. If you've been to Sri Lanka, you know the stupa huge, like a mountain, really. There's some small stupa, of course, then a huge stupa like a mountain. So let's say you're staying close by, then every time before you go for alms giving, you will go to the stupa and take 3 rounds and walk 3 rounds and worship 4 points, okay, 4 directions. And this is another tradition thing, because in Sri Lanka you see that the stupa, if there's a certain size of the stupa, they have 4. Like sometimes they enshrine the Buddha inside, like there's a niche there, like a shrine room. But if it's a small one, it's interesting. They put 8. Okay.
8?
Yeah.
8 what?
8 niche or the shrine room.
Oh.
That is also, you can see, because commentary mentioned, if there's a big stupa, then you need to worship the Buddha 4, right? Like a four direction. Actually the stupa 4 side of it, 4 corner they say. From 4 corner you need to worship. It's not like you just walk 3 times round in the stupa, but you need to round stupa, worship, stand round, worship, and then you need to walk 4 corner. Okay. And then, or then you have to walk, if it's a small one, you worship 8 corners. Okay. So, and then, but if you practice the mindfulness of breathing, the recollection of the Buddha, it's fine. You can just put that kamatana, this meditation or recollection of Buddha away, because you are worshipping the stupa. According to the traditional stupa represent the Buddha. Okay. So then you don't have to really I still must. That's why I say here, but still, doing the correct comprehension of the Dharma. In other words, you are still keeping your meditation object. But it looks like you put that aside, you're not meditating on the Buddha, but because you are, you are worshiping the Buddha. Okay, now of course, that might have different opinions, and the second one, what if I'm not practicing the mindfulness, the comprehension or recollection of the Buddha, but I'm practicing the mindfulness of breathing? Okay. So then that's a discussion. Now, there was two versions. One version is saying that actually, in other words, both are okay, general, I guess. So, that means if you're practicing the mindfulness of breathing, then you're stupa, because that is a Buddha. And then it's something almost like, it's very important. But later they will explain the reason, I guess. It's important because usually the clear comprehension is so, if you practice it, they will definitely find what we call this, something that against this practice. One is that because you don't believe in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, and then you have the doubt, like that. So, but because that you still believe in the Buddha, so you can just put that, the mindfulness practice aside while you're worshiping the stupa. Okay. Or you could also, you're worshiping your stupa, but then, according to the Sri Lankan system, basically just asking you, if you're worshiping a stupa, you can put that aside, your mindful breathing, but you have to really worship the stupa. Take the stupa almost like a Buddha. But he did say that there's some other opinion. But usually when the community being written, it's always represent a kind of opinions there. I mean, that's their opinions. Okay. All right. And then what about this so-called non-delusion? The comprehension of non-delusion is more complicated. Then there's a lot of story. Firstly, let me say that one of the story about the clear comprehension of non-delusion. It said that, for example, there was a monk and then a novice monk, that means a Samanera. So they both go to a place. And then while they are going that place, and then the Samanera saw there's a corpse. In those days, some corpse could be on the street. I mean, this never happened of course, nowadays. But then he saw the corpse, and then because when he saw the body corpse and he started to meditate, that means he was doing the purpose rightly and his suitability because he's going for somewhere it's good. But then he also practiced the dormant. So he was doing his walking meditation, and then while staying there, and he saw the corpse. And then he using this kind of corpse as a meditation object. In other words, you could say he changed his meditation subject. But then when he changed the subject and he meditated on the corpse, and then from there within, we're going to mention about the corpse later, actually, the meditation. And then he attend the first sainthood, and then even he can attend the second sainthood, and then the third sainthood. And after he attended the sainthood, so he, and then the monk, because he's a Samanera, he's a novice monk, then the monk call him, let's say he's, did he mention the name? Here didn't he mention the name? So anyway, the monk called him twice, If somebody call you once, you may not answer, that means fine. But when he call you twice, I mean, traditionally means that person really needs you, right? So, and that's why he know, so that's why he answered. He replied to that person, and then the monk asked the novice monk, what you're doing? He said, I was doing this. So while you're busy in that, I was just doing that. And then the monk was really, then he would just walk with him and look at the corpse again, and he said that they both attend arahantship. So it's a story, of course, a very encouraging story. Basically, it's just so saying that so somebody who are really going out, doing something very suitable, and then they also know how to use the time to practice a correct comprehension. What do you call that? Of this dormant, So that's one of the clear comprehension. But then also, when you talk about the dormant, is another big subject. The subject is that whether he goes away, do we take it back? So it's a famous here. Usually the Buddhism always say the tetrad stanza. tetrad mean the four 四句嘛哈 either if, especially if you learn the Madhyamika. So the tetrad stanzas mean the stanza, you know the stanzas, right? So and then they say a bhikkhu takes it but does not bring it back, or does not take it but bring it back, neither take it nor bring it back, or one both take it and bring it back. You know, it's a big story about this thing. Well, generally just say that a monk, you know, is dormant too, because you know, when let's say the monk go for alms, you know, when you go for alms on the street, you will see the people around. So the people will say they worship you, right? But if you're practicing according to this suggestion, so that's why I say in certain culture like in Thailand, I guess now Sri Lanka a little bit changed. I mean, I'm talking about general culture. But if you practice meditation, certainly you don't do that. So let's say the culture first. In Thailand, sometimes if you are a monk are walking, and then let's say I'm a devotee, a lay person, and I saw the monk walking, I just want to worship the monk, I will stay worship. Sometimes the monk just don't care, just go away. And I always get complaint telling me when I was in Malaysia, usually, you know, these Mahayana monks, you know, we are friends, they always say, I don't like this Thailand. Thai monks are so rude. I say, why are you saying they're rude? And the lay people say, because you see, when we say hi to them, they just don't care walk. They almost like didn't see you. And they worship the monk, they just don't. I say, oh yeah, but I say, but you never know what he's doing, right? Well, you don't know what his mind. But of course they feel very hard to understand. They say, you know, but this is rude, you know. But I say, do you make an appointment to him, or do you really, you know, like he knows that you're coming to see him or whatever? I know, no. But looks like, let's say this is at least it's suggested in that way. If the monk go out for almsgiving, and then people are really greeting to you, you don't have to reply, because you're keeping your meditation object is more important than you replying. I know this is very different culture thing. And you really have to be really focused on your practice. That means that keeping your dormant, okay? And then you don't even the people worship you, according to commentaries say, you don't even bless, because you generally when people worship you, at least you have to say Sukhi Hotu, you know, Sobat Wewa, whatever, you need to say some greeting thing. You don't even have to do that. So, but of course then later on we found a better solution. The better solution is then you should change it to loving kindness meditation, okay? Like, you know, that's you can. But anyway, I want to say that but if you are practicing generally, mean you don't change your meditation object. You're still practicing it. Even they worship you don't. But unless they ask you question about Dharma, you need to. They say, I have question to ask about, let's say how to practice, whatever, they're asking Dharma. And or they ask you what's the time is it. Of course, this is so strange. What does it mean, what's the time is it? Is it because in old day, you know, the time are all the temple are one who know the time.
The G.
Yeah, because
sign for time, right?
yeah.
Because they ring the bells, right?
Yeah, they ring the bell.
But how do they keep time with the solar clock, dial clock, or how do they keep time?
Yeah, that also one way, and then also the monk has to always know the time, like the time including the date, because they have to know what is full moon day, new moon day, what they call half mast day. I don't know how we call it, you know, between.
So they have to write.
Oh, that's a long history. Buddhism always have that. Yeah, because you know.
I wonder how he kept the time. Is it with candle when you meditate? How do you know it's an hour? Do you have like an hourglass or?
I don't know, because unfortunately during my time of meditation I have used clock already.
But I was just curious.
I know that some old master told me in those days, I mean Chinese, they used incense to count the time.
Ah, that makes sense. I thought some kind of candle or incense when it.
Yeah, they know it, you know. That's the reason.
But also you develop an internal clock. We do have.
Yeah, I know that. But I just want to say, externally, yeah, you use incense. And also there's a lots of story like that. When you get punished, you know, you also do incense. In those days when you get punished, you put the incense, kneel down until this incense burn, right? So, and always the kids, the samanera, you know, of course they are not very happy to be punished in that way. And that's how they do.
You can make the time go faster.
Yeah, so anyway, those are.
Teaching us the secrets.
No, we have many secrets in the Manghoja. So, and you know, this is how human. I mean, how human nature is about. Where I was? Should we have a break or let me finish
We
this?
talk about the non-delusion.
Yeah, I think it's the non-delusion is more. I mean, suddenly it come to definitely non-delusion directly has to do with our wisdom. That means you will realization there's no self. Okay, then certainly there will no self, and then by understanding, of course, the commentary sometimes have a very complicated about the way that you understand your consciousness, how the arising and falling of the Dharma, right? I think let me just look at the book also. I guess that it does mention also, even in the text, I'm going to say the detail a little more later. So it said also, so the same thing, yeah.
Arising, yeah. Observing the season.
Yeah, observing the arising and ceasing of phenomena. So yeah, and then up to that, it would be, he abides independently, not clinging to anything in the world, right? So even this clear comprehension itself will suffice someone to have this kind of really high attainment by understanding non-self. So he gives the more example of walking meditation. I always said I like commentary one way, not because it give more detail, but usually they want that they have this kind of, at least so far we have this commentary. They always give you say something. They presume the material is not. You don't always find this material in some other place. But sometimes you need to talk it because you cannot avoid the subject. The subject is there. Let's say the greed subject is there. You cannot say, I don't want to talk about greed. Even though we always talk about the greed and suffering. But the subject you need to talk. But then beside that, they also address something, information that you don't find in other place. That one of the things commonly always taught is a walking meditation. So because in the text, Sutra doesn't mention that, only few places mention about walking meditation. Yes, it mentioned about four posture, but really the detail of walking meditation. So here it mentioned. So because it's also, it looks like in Sri Lanka, this walking meditation is so popular, okay? And perhaps even during the Buddha's time, okay? There's so many stories about walking meditation. Now, so here, in terms of talking of describing about a non-delusion, then the commentary is trying to say why people doing walking meditation. Of course, we know that the purpose is to develop the wisdom that understand the no self. You could choose your mind, but then walking meditation also is important because as an object and subject, let's say I observe my feet. If I think I go, that is a delusion, because that is to Buddhism thinking that when you walk, you think that I go, that have involved in delusion, 见取, grasping from the view. You have the view grasping, right? You know, if you learn Abhidhamma, remember that? Okay, we have that, okay? And as well as the pride, the manas, man, the three things is there. The conceit is there. So that's why the non-delusion, certainly there's no pride there, no conceit there. And so if you think I goes, that's wrong. But if you observe only the mind have the intention of going, and like the body as like a puppet, okay, that walking
is just happening.
So then walking happening, right?
It's not.
So then that is the some process going, like the mind carry idea, and then the body started to react. So there is no the concept of I. And while the food started to lift, so and then you aware the lifting is have the two combination. Generally you can understand generally mean is the combination of the heat elements first, because it's believed that one of the characteristics of the heat element is the heat, is going up, right? So, but not only that, but substitute, or not substitute, they call it what they call this, assisted by what? The heat element assisted by the wind. Okay?
Together, yes.
And this is how the feet arise. Okay? This is no I. According to the Abhidhamma, always system is like this when you practice, not my feet is lifting, is the element are just responding. And the strong side of it is the the heat element and the wind, the air or wind. Get it now? So they only see this. They don't see that. That's why there's no I there. That's the first thing. And then when the feet started to move, push forward, okay? The push forward, that pushing forward, of course, let me just finish this first. The pushing forward, it will be this, the wind, right? Then assisted by the heat. Okay, otherwise your feet would not be raised, basically. Pushing is the wind, but your feet is raised up, right? So it could raise up because of the heat element is there.
I would think all the elements are there.
Huh?
I would think all of them.
No, that's why they say these two are the strong one and the other two are the weak one.
The earth element is there, but it's not as prominent.
No. I think the people get
Body is.
you have no argument with that. Buddhism, there's no argument about definitely there are four elements always there. Then what become a predominant? What become become active? You know. So let's say.
That sounds like quantum physics to me.
Yeah.
It is.
And then when you step down is because the earth element and the water element, okay. But the water element takes as the active part and then assisted by the earth element because earth have to represent on heavy, okay. And the water also is a heavy too. Water have a concretion and concrete way, so that's why it's step down. But when the foot press on the ground, and then you just observing basically this earth element as a ground, but assisted by the water because still concreteness is there, right? So imagine that this is why the walking meditation you do. At first we're only learning the that's later on. So some people they experience they see the wind first because when you walk, the wind is just turning, right? And then but if you still become more, how to say, very detailed. The important is not just, because sometimes when you see the wind turning, you know, my understanding is that's why when you practice the Vipassana, so the teacher will ask you, well, okay, because I knew there are lots of students even in our monastery when you practice Vipassana, because I always be a translator, so I know. They ask this question, they see the wind, just the feet gone, but just only the wind and wind, right? And then they don't see the feet, they only see the wind.
Too windy.
So, and yeah, it's true.
Some people start going like this.
Yeah. No, that's young, that's another story.
Yeah, but
this
it's
is
a lot because it's too much
no.
wind.
This
They
is
think it's too much wind.
but you
too much
jump
movement.
the topic already. We are talking walking
Yeah,
meditation.
but I'm saying it happens during meditation. It's too much wind.
It happens. It doesn't. It's not to do with the walking meditation. The walking meditation
It's outside of the
also.
domain, but I'm saying it's a lot
So
of
it's but it's true that when the wind doing that way, and then they could see the external wind. This is why it become internal wind and external wind, right? In the meditation, say internally you practice, and externally. Yes.
When that retreat, the 10-day retreat at Chongyan, you practice that the elements when you're walking and.
Are we time's up now? Oh, you need to leave early today? Oh, okay.
That's part of the. I never went to that.
Yeah, actually, there was a purpose. The purpose is.
It's a Satipat time.
But only that, right? It's just the elements. When that element retreat, the Vipassana retreat at Chongyan, you only practice the elements.
No, it's the whole
Whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Oh, I thought it was just the element. It's
No.
No, it's the whole
No.
I was thinking that's a lot.
It's just only different is that you begin with practice elements.
It's easier practices.
It's just a system that you begin. If you talk about that system is you begin with practice 4 elements, so that you started to. That's the reason why a lot of experienced people, when they begin with practice of 4 elements, they start to see the body organs. Even though not in the full set, but they will see few of them like the heart. It's very common with lots of people. They see skeleton and all these things can. And of course, then you know that in practice, they've been advised to do walking meditation, and then you should be advised to whatever you're eating, you have to know. Even poo-poo, you should know. This all how it comes up. All you should know. Right?
The whole
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
It's four foundations.
The four foundations.
But it just only have to, the base is more on, even the breath. The breath, right? The breath is one part of it. But the breath was not taken, but I think if it, for the sake of analyzing, I don't mean, because sometimes our way of saying is not can always cover up everything, right? Just for the sake of analyzing. It's, the breath is that's why you start with the breath, either in the belly or either here, right? Because the breath ultimately become a wind. We know that because and we're going to actually to talk about this. We suppose with Dr. I can finish. I don't think so now. But the four elements, yeah, it's then you start. The only difference is they start with the four elements. But then you still also practice the mindfulness of feelings and mindfulness of the mind and also the Dharma.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was
Yeah, yeah. It's very common.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Four
I just
foundations.
thought it
It's
was
four foundations.
10 days of element.
But that is the ultimate, because that's how the idea is. If that's just my way of analyzing, because ultimately for the physical material part, the narrow down is only four elements. That's why they take that. You could name it in different way, like this is my way of naming four elements as the foundation of their practice, representing the whole the foundation of the body with regard to the body.
So how do you apply it with the clear comprehension?
Yeah, I'm saying it like a walking, right? We say that already. The walking, and even if you are, the purpose is wherever you go. If you have the mindfulness, so-called the four-founded mindfulness with the elements, you're always there, right? And then even for the suitability, where should go meditate, what is good for you or not. And the same thing for the dominant is all about the four elements, meditation. And even you see, that's why then, some people when they meditate there and they ask a question, because some people meditate, either they walking or sitting, they could sometimes see the skeleton, they become a skeleton walking on it. And they could see people become skeleton. Sometimes they could see themselves, the whole head was like a skeleton, or they see the body organs, right? Then you will see the instructor will always say, okay, good. But if it often comes up, he will say, what it is. She always asks this question. Right. But if you say, this is my heart, she will say, no. I know that because I'm always there when the Q&A. I noticed that already. Yeah. I noticed this thing already.
So it's a good thing, though.
No, she will say no. No, she didn't say it's good or bad. She will ask, what do you think? When, let's say some people meditate, see their own heart pumping, really there. Really, somebody knows because it's a live one, right? And then she will ask what it is. She say it's a heart, but it's no. Then she will say, tell me again what it is. And if the people say it's earth, then you'll be right.
But the 32 parts is part of the.
Yeah, but that is a part of the meditation, right? That you understand the body is full of this kind of thing. Some you like it, some you don't like. I think we did explain that earlier last week. Right. But let's say you like something, you don't like something, but then you need to practice up to that. You might have no. The simile is like this, almost like. Let's say there's a heart, you might like it. Say you see your own heart. Oh, now I can be a great doctor because I can see my heart whether I have a whole, healthy, Of course, according to Satipat, wrong will, delusion, greed, But that's the reason I'm saying that. But then, and if you see your own pus or snot, your nose and many snot, so ugly. Somebody say they saw the diaphragm, they meditate, they could see the diaphragm up and down on it, right? So the diaphragm, but if you understand this is a diaphragm, but that's good. But then actually the further thing you need to do is not only know the diaphragm, you have to know this is earth element. The moving is the wind element. And then the diaphragm, you have kind of moisture there, is that's actually their purpose. That's why you find she will ask again, what do you think? But normal people say, ugly, horrible. Oh, what? But she will say, Then she say, okay. Then her question always say, drop it. Back here. Because that means the person doesn't get it. But it's just a different technique, I'm saying. But still serve the same purpose of practicing the four foundations of mindfulness. This is the reason why you have to learn the text now. Okay, get it now?
Well, we covered that really well, the 4 elements, for sure.
Yeah, the 4 element is that it's because there are 3 ways of practicing it. You know there's a 4 elements, and also you also have to know, actually any organ comes along, it's belong to what elements. Okay. So we have a break and then we come back. I think it's too hot. Yeah. So a little break and we come back. Yeah, further. If you have questions or what. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I just want to say that, of course, I don't need to mention too much about the 4 that what we call the tetra stances. That's very common in the Buddhism. Basically, mean you bring this core comprehension when you go out, but you bring it back, or you go out with the comprehension, but when you come back without the comprehension. You know, we know the story already. And you also might be not when you're going out without the comprehension, like a story about a monk. He gets sick, his stomach ache, but he still have to, you know, he have weak body, so he could not do his any type of meditation. Basically, mean he's a meditation object. So, but when he go out, so he have that problem. But after when he get this Kongji, you know, and the glue, and that's the reason why even in Buddhism tradition is taking the Kongji is like a so. Even in Sri Lanka, I find it amazing to know that. So like taking the Kongji almost like wonderful thing. 就周有实力嘛 in Chinese mean the Kongji have 10 beneficiaries. So I'm not going to say about what is 10.
Do they have Kongji in Sri Lanka too?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Right? With milk,
No.
Just
Please,
rice?
you don't even know. I just say the Kongji. Do you want me to cook for you the Kongji now?
No, I like Kongji. I made it this morning. I make it for my parents.
So, and then he, after eating the Kongji and have the food, and his stomach ache has reduced and he recover, and he came back and meditate well, and so of course, the story always say, then he become Arahant, right? And then the Sri Lankan said and praise that, you know, in all the chair you see, in all the, not the chair, all the seats, they don't have chair, all the seats you see in that kind of area, I mean, basically mean this, I think he mentioned about a place, I don't know where is it, but I certainly know it's in Anuradhapura, just only that, but particular site, I don't know. So, and then he said in all the seat there, so none of the seat, basically mean all the seat, how to say it in English? I mean, those people who've been sitting there, they have attained arahants. It means so many people attain arahants because of Kongji also. they have eaten the Kongji and then they come back, they meditate so well to become arahant. Even in...
So we should have Kongji at the Changyam Monastery. Easy.
Unfortunately, it's...
we should do Kongji.
I don't think that the Changyam Monastery want people to be arahant, they want you to be bodhisattva. Maybe Kongji is not suitable. I'm just joking.
I like that.
But I also like to mention it when it said that when people have these dormant and when they come out, that means that when they really have the clear comprehension of the dormant, and then when they meditate, they go out without this keeping this. When they go out without keeping the comprehension and come back without keeping comprehension, and it said it's because they have this kind of so-called the mental stumble blocks. Okay, Jedo Kila, stumble blocks. What are these stumble blocks? And one is that because he doubts about the teacher, and the second he doubts about the Dhamma, and doubts about the Sangha. The teacher has referred to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. This is why I want to say it's explained also. My way of explaining is that if you really just worshiping a Buddha is fine, because that definitely because you're worshiping Buddha or worshiping the stupa, you don't have to change your. You can just put aside your meditation object first, because you are still doing another meditation object. So according to the Sri Lankan way of or the Pali way of understanding from the commentary perspective. And then also they doubt about the training, the teachings. The training here refer to desana. The word desana usually always refer to the technique, the method. Okay, let's say the teacher say you do the mindfulness in this, and he will think something else. Or the other teacher say you should do like just we mentioned like 4 elements to start this. No, I don't want to do that because the text say other way. So those mean the instruction actually. Or doubts about the instructions. The fourth one. Or he's angry with his people around. So those are the stumble. You know, I know that. So usually, sometimes we also have this problem when the people come to do meditation, And they also inform me, oh, this time I don't think I'm not going to come in for joining the retreat, because I heard somebody is going there too. So,
More reason to come.
so especially when you practice as a Brahma Vihara, the fourth
Yeah,
supply abiding,
that's
and I think, and I always say, but don't forget, even you practice say something I might disagree with you, especially if you practice Brahma Vihara, then you need to come. All right.
Those are hindrances, though.
Those are, they don't call the hindrance, they have a term called jedo kila, mean it will become a stumble block for the mental, for the mind.
Why aren't they calling it hindrances?
Because when you say hindrances,
5 specific.
the spice, when you meditate, you have to find hindrances like nivarana. So like the lust, the anger, and then the what you call drowsiness first. The drowsiness and sleepiness, and then the agitation and regret, and the last one, the doubt, right? The 5. But this is saying that when the people, they go out, no such a comprehension, correct comprehension, coming back, no comprehension, it's because definitely this 5 thing is there. Or one of them at least is there, right? That either they doubt the structure, they forget about Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, or they forget about the instruction, or they're angry within their life, So that's the reason why I always tell people when you practice a four sublime abiding meditation, when your mind is happy, you're always easy to remember the teachings. Because a lot of time is because you are not happy with your life, of course, then you just fed up, with everything, right? Anyway, another I want to say, because I think it's a good information, is they call these mental bonds. Vinibanda. Vinibanda means you've been binding with the mind, something binding with the mind. Something that binding with the mind, like when someone is not devoid the lust for the sensual pleasure, right? That if this thing is binding, means something that not devoid of lust for sensual pleasure is one of them. So, in other words, the mind still wants the sensual pleasure, right? Anyone understand what I mean, the sensual pleasure? And second one is not devoid of lust for the body. Basically, it's like they need to have a good comfort in the body, like sit comfortable place, So have a very good weather for your body. You feel nice, right? If you have the idea, it's very hard to practice. Really, I'm talking say like you really practice well. But wow, today weather is not good. I don't going to go out. Today weather is not good. I'm not going to sit. I'm not going to meditate, right? Like that. So it's also part of it called the lust for the body, and that one not the devoid of the lust for the material form. Like I must look beautiful and kind of thing like that, and also, and then after finishing his food, and he also spend his time on his sleeping. Sometimes I do so. After when I have a good food, I feel very sleepy. That's my laziness, I know very well. And relaxing. So what's the nowadays it's so bad. When you have this comfortable chair, relaxing, and then dozing. Right. the fourth thing, and the fifth thing, he lived the holy life. Basically, he want to have this guy because he want to just to reborn, to be reborn to the heavens, have a then you would not really devote very much. That's what they. This is a very Buddhist figure. I really understand. So like then. This is the 5 thing that it would be. If that 5 thing is by with the mind, then also that's how the people they go out and coming back. They would not devote very fast. What does it mean? For example, because in order to born the whole that even though they be a monk, they just thought I be a monk. Then when I die, I can be a human. I can reborn to a better human life, or I can reborn just be in a very nice heavenly place. Because even that you can just only do devotion. You know what I'm saying? That you have to understand the concept is because devotion, say I just treat people nicely, make people happy, and I really serve people, almost like a kind of social work, serving people, or I just worship the Buddha and devote the Buddha, and because I will get married, because I always have this pleasure feeling when I worship the Buddha, or offering incense to the Buddha, offering those is nothing to do with the liberation. But yes, of course, it still gives you a good merit to be reborn nicely. And then but imagine this is really no, it's not delusion. It just
hardly, because it's for self-interest.
No. It is not okay.
Depends on the intention.
Anyway, so here I just want to say the
clear intention.
But anyway, remember, for sure, you need to make it clear. Okay, here just to say, this person definitely, if he have this kind of practice or this idea, he is not practice clear comprehension. Okay, maybe this better answer according to the Pali system.
It's in the domain.
Yeah, and then I think finish the non-delusion. The non-delusion is that when the person walking meditation, if they see the body just on the 4 elements, right, or even walking steps, even just step. That's why I also saw that myself actually. When I was in Taiwan, one of my Shimam's students, she really just 1 hour walk 2 steps. I'm not joking. 1 hour, 2 steps. Not like that. Okay, let me show you. And when I say 1 hour, 2 steps, I don't mean the person stand long time. No, the feet can do it almost just. When I say 2 steps, I mean sorry, I was wrong. Yeah, 2 steps. That's it. 1 hour. But she's still moving. Okay, not moving. Of course, and it doesn't count. It's just standing, moving. Okay.
I saw a dancer take about 12 steps in 1 hour. Buddha dancer, an hour and a half. 12 steps. But he wasn't meditating.
That all don't see superficially. Always see inside the mind. Okay, that's it. And then it's whatever I was. I just want to say is that the step only when they meditate and that he understand. There's no I, because when I say understand, it's not your thinking, but it's just the way you're only perceiving the 4 elements. Like I just mentioned, like if lifting the feet is you only just seeing this the wind elements and then also the heat elements, right? Just you're aware the heat there as an external kind of like predominant thing. The feet disappear, just like you feel the feet, the heat, and then you feel there's the wind, right? Not like I just mentioned before, some people just only see the wind. That's good, but then that's why I knew already when she asked a question like, what do you see? They say, I see the wind. She say, are you still going to see the wind? Then say, okay, drop it. She always say, then change it back. But if the people know when the wisdom comes, she say, no, I start not only seeing the wind, but I see blah, 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 blah. I don't want to give you an answer. Otherwise, you have a formula answer there. Then keep on. That's always the question. Because they have to know whether the person was still. When they say I see the wind, mean I there, okay. But you get it now. But just the wind, and then the combination of the elements. According to even Abhidhamma system, understand you are observing the ultimate Dhamma, mean the Paramattha Dhamma, truth, right? So anyway, so this is one part. That then also with that you have feelings, right? The joyful feelings, or agreeable feelings, or disagreeable feelings, and or neutral feelings. And also you might also have a kind of thought, because your thought is lifting, right? Who is thinking? No. It's just a thought coming, and the thought coming, say, the thought observing the wind, the consciousness, something, or not something, kind of like there is the observing, but you don't find there's no observer. Okay. So this is how you realize the no self. One way, partly, because there's no observer. I just know there's observing, but there's no observer. And also sometimes when the feeling's gone, right? And say that the pleasure feeling's there, but then because the pleasure feeling, say, the pleasure feelings gone, and then unpleasure feelings come along, or pleasure feelings gone, be the neutral feelings, and the observing, how to say, yeah, the observing, no observing, because no elements going, giving you the chance. Say that you live a fit, but there's no elements. You see the element, but the elements itself is also changing, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then so that's why if changing that moment, you could put that as almost like a big picture. There's no elements because it's changed, and then the observers change, no observers, and then that's how you understand what we call the dependent arising, the origination, because when this gone and that gone, when that does not exist, this not exist. Basically, this is how the non-self call the comprehension of non-delusion is about. So, all right, I guess to sum up the thing is the clear comprehension to the commentary, actually even without these kind of terms, it still teach you the same thing. This is my understanding. My way of explaining. Some people may not agree. The term is just only using to, to can explain more clearly, easily. Let's say it should be have the comprehension with the purpose, right? So, or even have the suitability. If it's not beneficial, let's say, when people observing the wind, it's supposed to be the right purpose, but when he understands the wind as the wind, then it's not beneficial, right? And of course, that also is not on the right, on the comprehension of the dormant. Okay, or maybe actually you can understand that you are in the comprehension of the dormant, but it's not in the suitable.
It's domain. Domain.
Domain.
Domain.
Okay,
Domain.
the domain. Okay, thank you. And if the domain is not correct. Okay. But you may have a correct domain seemingly, but then it's not suitable. Okay. But of course, ultimately is the comprehension of the non-delusion. So I guess I will just. I have many things here.
That
but
was it. This is all the Satipat. You said it all now.
no, come on. This
not
is
self, not observer, watching.
But this is just a Satipatthana according to the commentary. Come on, you need to be more specific. In the Pali,
you said it.
But how come?
as in terms of the clear comprehension. That's why from the beginning to the end, the mindfulness of clear comprehension is so important. Okay. Yes.
This is going to be a weird question, but how come you didn't know this?
I forgot the term. I know the content.
Like how do you practice this if you?
No, as I say, I don't remember the terms.
No, I'm
Yeah.
so not
Yeah.
criticizing you.
No, don't worry. Even criticism is fine. Yeah.
Because this, is important. So.
No, let me tell you. You can ask a lot of teachers. They don't know this term, but they can tell you. You can see the wind elements and also so.
So you use this more in terms of the elements in your own practice. Like, how are you practicing this in your practice?
Everything is no. I think.
You don't use these words.
Yeah, because this is just a word. So I said that.
So what words do you use?
Okay, let's say. Okay, okay,
Got his own secret.
We want the real answer.
No. Let me say.
I use this.
What else
No.
is this word?
But don't
This is mine.
forget. This word is sometimes you can call up with a lot of debate and this and thing, right? Let me say that I don't know this term.
Yeah. What do you? So.
That's why I'm saying that I forget this term. I'm going to explain. I forget this term, and I don't use. Actually, I forget. I don't care in the past, but it's just for the sake of argument. Yes, you need to use a term, and people within the system, almost like a logic. Logic sometimes not as okay. Forget about logic and the induction and all these things. When we study philosophy, we always study. Forget about this thing. I just want to say I can just say when you meditate, you have to meditate. Don't go there, but don't go to other place. I mean, let's say they always ask a question: Can I meditate? Can I meditate in a toilet? Yes, you can meditate in a toilet. Because why? Because if you find the toilet, is. If you can take the toilet as a kind of, let's say it's repugnant, but you take that as a kind of bad smell, but my body also have the same thing, they come up from my body, then you can meditate there. So, but then if I can meditate in the temple, yeah, but where? Yeah, if you go there, it's so noisy. People are having ceremony, happy, joining, dancing, and all that other thing, according to this Satipatthana. So no, you don't. And okay, let's say you meditate on the toilet. So yeah, you can keep on meditating on the toilet. So what should I do in the toilet? So and then in the toilet, you must know you're in the toilet. If you're stood, you must know. Okay, in Asia, always stood. Forget about now. You sit on the toilet. Okay, you sit. You must know the contact. You must know your butt's contact with this thing. You must know your posture. You must know your hand, what you're doing, and then you must know when the poo-poo coming out. I know. From there, you must know how it comes out. And you have to observe the moving, and then the poo-poo is what? So say hardness there, and then there's softness, there's wetness of poo-poo. Yes, this is how they meditate actually. And then you have to observe all this, and then the pushing, you must have this pushing. Of course, normal people think it's a muscle, right? But to meditate there, you don't think muscle, you think that is the heatness and the coldness, the temperature, and then the water. And yeah, water, and then you don't have to think, element, this is water, this is, no, you don't do that also. You just know there's a wetness, there's a wind push down, and there's a poo-poo come down. And then when the poo-poo come down, you also see the whole, you feel the whole. That's what 6 elements, the whole. And the awareness is the consciousness. And then usually when poo-poo come down, is one wind come down too. The wind will come down with the poo-poo, okay. So, and then if you meditate, you find you have this contact. I mean, your mind, because your mind is aware of the poo-poo. So if your mind don't aware of the poo-poo, so you will not aware this. You're aware something else. So something like that. And then you start to feel that when this arise, that arise. When that is not arise, that is not arise. So I explain all 4 things without any terms.
So it's like second nature to you. You don't think about it. It's
Those are just a language.
But you don't think about it when.
No, you practice it don't. You think it's all concept. No, don't. The 4 elements, the same thing. If you think I'm water element, this is water element is the concept, and you are not clearly comprehension. The clear comprehension directly just know it is like this. And you know it's like this, it's not like that. In other words, this is warm, but it's not moving, okay? If it's moving, say this is like this way moving or this way moving. So this way moving could be water, but I mean, I'm not saying that you should use a name, I'm talking in terms. Or then you know this is like that. So, no, you don't use language. Language is just to describe something. So no. Get it now? Are we in the time now? Oh, it was so late. Sorry about that. We should do. Oh, by the way, I have a bad news to tell you. Okay, the bad news is the next week, Wednesday, I will not be here because I will go for a retreat myself, and I hope that when I come out, I will be flying. I'm joking. But anyway, I'm so happy that I can have my own time and just take the rest. Okay. So the Wednesday we won't have a class, and after Wednesday we won't have a class. I think because since 2 Wednesday I won't have class, and I think it's not fair. So can we just at least one class that when Sagaranda here, you can just do some meditation? Would that be okay?
Yeah. What is the next
But
meeting
you won't
then?
be back until the 25th?
I think the rest of
The rest of them. The March.
March.
This March is.
No more.
Yeah, maybe have stuff from April. Because I really, for many reasons, I really need a big rest myself.
Where are you
And
going for a retreat?
I don't want to tell you. I just want to be.
We're going to follow you.
Oh, we want to follow you. See how
We're
what
gonna-
you
No,
do.
you're
I
going
wanna
to
watch
you're
you.
going to join my class in May, right? Yeah, it is only toilet. It will be sufficient.
I do a lot of meditation in the toilet. It's very wonderful.
We'll get an email, right?
I think you'll get. No, definitely I will come back on April to teach that. I just want to say, because our arrangement is the March. March, I think we don't have class, but at the same time, actually March I will be away too, even though I finish. Yeah, how much? Yeah, and but I still think that I don't know. It's because sometimes it's not necessarily good if you don't be here.
They do have.
Why don't we just see through the email and see, right?
So the next
You are the
class
one who
will be
organizing
April?
that, right? You can ask him again how.
April 18th?
No, 18th is not.
18. Oh, March 18.
At least you should get and have some discussion. Like you like to have a lot of interesting ideas. Yeah, why don't you just both discussion? You didn't come up any idea or having. Why don't then that would be good. I mean, do some little meditation and have discussion. Maybe all crazy ideas or maybe wonderful idea. I never know. Then just let me know if something that people file they don't agree to each other or they have many different ideas. Well, that would be great. At least meet one. I will be
Maybe
not
we
here.
should
Nice.
agree now on
Yeah, on 18, shall
March
we?
18th.
Yeah.
okay,
March
sorry.
18th.
March 18,
March
okay.
18th is the next
Definitely
meeting.
no class on March 11th, right?
Yeah.
March 18th.
Or the 25th.
25th, we don't
No.
have.
No, 25th because we couldn't
Sorry,
make it.
schedule.
Yeah, we don't have class, and also 25th it could be another stage too. So. And I would suggest you to come to the class as often as possible because I think I'm getting busier and busier, so I could be even disappear also. So like a vapor.
Oh,
That would be wow.
Superpower.
All right, thank you for the class, and can you do the transfer marriage? Yeah. So.
ศาสนังชิรังรักขันตุเดชนังชิรังรักขันตุ
Mambaran.
พัง
This. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Do you have a clear comprehension?
That was good. That was good.
Okay.
Dr. Teacher?
All right. Thank you for your
Have a
attendance.
wonderful
Thank you.
retreat.
Yeah.
You better come back as